What's up, JD Mafia? It's the Yeti, it's JP, and we are here with the one and only Green Ant. How are you, sir?
Hello, nice to see you guys.
Yeah, as always, make sure you follow us at 3 Irish Boys. As you can see down there at the bottom, you can follow Green Ant. It's at _Green Ant_. Please make sure when you're listening to the podcast, you leave us a review. 5 stars, always appreciated. If you give us a 1 star, we will find you and get rid of you. Thanks again, Green Ant. You are here once again, but this is the video portion that we wanted everybody else to. We got to see this the first time. Now everybody else gets to see this, dude. How are you?
Good. This is the exciting part when people get to see faces right now. Like, I'm excited.
This is cool because you, like Josh was saying, like we did just a regular audio interview with you before where we could see it because it was over Skype for us, but you wore the mask the whole time. I hung out with
you wore the mask the whole time.
I hung out with Green Ant for a weekend and I did not see his face.
Yeah.
Well, I did see his face, and that is his face.
It's all weekend. Hung out, looking at this. Well, not this one. This one.
Yeah, I didn't know Ant could
grow a beard. I didn't know Ant could grow a beard.
You got sort of a El Generico thing going.
I'm trying my best. Trying to go just north of the border. You can choose which border.
Right. So it's been over a year since we've done this, right? I mean, this was right before. I mean, has it been over a year, or has it been close to it?
It's probably been about a year.
I was gonna say because what happened? I'm trying to remember my last year as all of my timeline has also crunched because of the Corona. And life and wrestling.
Because I think it was June when we were in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So it was probably about a year, maybe a little more than a year. But you've been around the world quite literally since then. So
yeah, you've been around like Japan, like you've been places, man. Right? What have you been up to? It's got to be hard traveling as an ant, though.
Yeah. Thankfully, cars seem more spacious when you're an ant. But the road trips are just that much longer because the measure of units and distance are a lot different for us.
Do you feel like do you get there quicker as an ant?
Sometimes it feels like it takes longer to get there. Much to my dismay. Except I did have a fantastic trip up to Vermont where we stopped casually at the Ben & Jerry's factory, as that was my one demand for going up there, was to make sure that I could take the detour to Ben & Jerry's.
Vermont is unbelievable.
I
was up there for a wedding last year. It's just so nice and peaceful, and that's not my style at all, but like even I had to appreciate it. So, and I did not get Ben & Jerry's the whole weekend I was there.
We stood in the longest line for Ben & Jerry's. And it was well worth it.
Now,
JP, I guess we're going to start question and answers here, right? Like we're going to get into this because I know we never, like JP and I never talk about what we're going to ask our guests before we do this. So it's always just a surprise. And we usually end up going, I guess, basically in the same direction most of the time. And we try not to veer off topic very much. But
you know where I want to go anyway, so we're going to get there eventually.
I know. I've got to know, and you tweeted this out earlier in one of the questions specifically, and unfortunately they're not here yet to comment yet. And if you guys are here and you're watching right now, feel free to comment because we'll put it up here. Like if you've got any questions for Green Ant, please put them up there.
Do you have a link that I can share? I'll blast the link out real quick, and I'm sure I can get some people.
Facebook.com / 3 Irish Boys. We are live right now. So all you have to do is follow us at 3 Irish Boys on Facebook, and we're doing it live right now. That's where we're at.
And this will of course go up onto the the regular podcast, and we started doing YouTube and TikTok as well, so you can find us in all those at 3 Irish Boys.
TikTok.
I take little sound bits. I get I'm becoming a little bit of a video editor and taking little short sound bits out of some of the interviews and posting to TikTok. But the problem is, and I say this all the time, like I'm not a 16-year-old girl, so I'm not getting the followers. But
Okay,
our
yeah,
buddy Nico has 250,000 followers talking nothing but wrestling on his TikTok. So
We'll get there one day.
yeah,
a
Maybe.
quarter of a million people actually pay attention to that dude. That's what I was
Right.
confused by. Literally.
So-
Anyway, so the question I have to ask is Japan. What was it like for you?
It was incredible. So I went for essentially the whole month of November. Just going about getting there was a task. I knew before I was going, I wanted to put on a bit more size than what I actually was at the current time. I think pre-Japan, I was 165-ish, and I know I wanted to be higher than that, heavier than that by the time I got there, because there's nothing more beneficial to walking into a new place than being the buffest dude in the room. I did not get the buffest dude in the room, I'll tell you that. Added about 10 pounds in the short time that I knew between being told I was going and going. But getting there, I arrived in Tokyo. I got picked up by the ring announcer's son, Noboru. If you're listening, what's up? He speaks English-ish. So appreciate the shout out. And the next day, we were going to the first wrestling match from Tokyo to a fish market, like 8 hours away. So we loaded in this van, and I slept a lot of the way because the only other person in the van that spoke English was the ring announcer, and he was driving. Played a lot of heavy metal, which was great. And I walk in not knowing where I'm going, and I walk in the front door, and it's just like a massive fish market. I said, "Where's the ring going to be?" And they're like, "Are we wrestling here, or is this like lunch?" And they're like, "No, wrestle." And I was, okay. And I was like, "Well, where's the ring?" And they're like, "Follow me." And they like took me down this back hallway and up a set of stairs. And plain as there's a ring with a whole setup. Now this is incredible. I've never seen anything like this on the second floor of a fish market.
Right?
Great. Yeah, I was like, we're going to start this nice and crazy. And then
how about Chunko? Did you try? Is that a thing over there? Did you eat? Was that part of where you're at? JP, look, I stole his question.
Chunko?
Did you eat Chunko? Were you familiar with that? Was that anywhere near you at all?
I don't think so. There's a lot of things I ate that I didn't eat. Ask what they were. So that was my trick, was to just eat whatever was put in front of me, and then if I liked it, ask for more of it, and if I didn't, just try to remember what it looked like vaguely. So I was like, no.
I've had
typically fish heads, livers, and stomach linings go over there. So.
I had. So the one night after a wrestling match, we went to a Korean barbecue place or something like that, and they gave me liver and stomach.
Yeah.
And they made the mistake of telling me ahead of time, and that was
not eating it.
I tried it. I was like, well, who knows? Like, what's the worst that could happen? And it didn't taste good, and I regret it every minute.
JP, do you want to go more into Chunko since I stole your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I knew that was your question. I had to steal it.
First of all, what's up to the couple people in the chat room? What's up, Jason? What's up, Joe Bruin? Missing the Hall of Fame this year, man. Hopefully next year it gets bigger. But the Chonko, Rex Andrews out of Texas went over there, and he stayed at one of the dojos.
Yeah.
And didn't speak. He didn't have anyone with him that spoke English that could translate for him. But he said in the dojo, they cooked for the students like 24/7. But the one thing they cooked was this thing they called chonko. He didn't know what it was. The best he could describe it was like a cabbage stew.
Huh.
But he said like there were different things in it, different days. Like it was almost like a leftover stew type of thing that was just consistently had cabbage or lettuce in it.
So Michinoku has their own proprietary curry, and so we had that on the pot for a lot of the nights. When you're over, so I also stayed in their dojo for most of my time there, and the young boy Oga, who just debuted for them, would cook a big meal on Sunday or Monday, and then it was just a curry that would sit in the pot for 4 or 5 days, and occasionally I would make my own food, and some nights that I got lucky, I'd be taken out to dinner to then explore a little bit more of the Japanese culture. But curry was always on. And for me, there's a lot of ramen noodles being eaten.
Well, that's a thing they say, like over there, like people will sort of sponsor you for meals.
Yeah.
But the other person I had a chance to talk about it was Ivar when he was over there with the War Raiders, and he said the only thing he could do when they went to a menu was have no idea what he was ordering, but ordered whatever had the most protein, because I guess it lists the protein on the menus there. And he would just point to that, so he knew he'd get something that was at least going to fill him up.
I went by pictures a lot. So like, this looks like a cheeseburger. I learned quickly how to tell whoever be with me, hey, I just want meat, like no fish, please. Like, because my first night we had sushi, and I knew going into this I wasn't that much of a sushi person, but then I was like, no, I have to try it. Like, I'm here. Like, it'd be rude for me to not, try to broaden my horizons.
Yeah.
So I tried it the first night, and I was like, not the biggest fan. But like, I learned how to use chopsticks, and I was like, if I need to eat it, I'll be fine. Is it my first choice? Probably not. So then after the fish market match, we went to one of these fan meetings where like the fans pay certain money to have dinner with the wrestlers, and the wrestlers come in and eat. And like usually, like they're like a big get together, and I really enjoyed those because I had a whole bunch of them when I was there. But like, it was at this really upscale sushi place. Like, walk in, take your shoes off, all that, fun stuff that wasn't really, like, not really expecting going into as the American who does not do that at the fast food places that I usually eat at after I wrestle. So I sit down, and they're like, well, what do you want to eat? And I don't know, like, whatever you guys think is, whatever you guys are pulling out. Cause like, I don't want to also be like, yeah, the most expensive thing on the menu. Cause I'm just like, I'll take whatever. I'm just kind of hungry. And they brought out this like extravagant plate of fish with like a clam that was smoking.
Yeah.
And there's like shells and all that. And they're like, oh, it's just a buffet. And okay. And I was like, what is it? And they're like, Taro no Hashi was kind of translating for me. But there's a lot of words that we get stuck on like, what fish is this? And he'd tell me, it's not a fish I ever heard of, because they're not indigenous to the Delaware River or the Atlantic Ocean. So, okay. All right, whatever. So I'd try it. And after a while, they realized that, like, maybe not fish. So they're like, do you want meat? And I was like, yes. So they bring out this big tray of meat. I mean, where was this like an hour ago? I'll take all of this, please. Most delicious meat food I've ever.
What did you find most interesting? Kind of moving from the food. What did you find most interesting about the culture while you were there for that month?
There's one thing that like completely caught me off guard that no one ever tells you about before you go. All of my transactions, I don't take money hand to hand. There's a little dish next to the cashier, and you stick your money in the dish. So the first night I went to the biggest mall in the area, Punch's son, Noboru, and like we go to this candy store, and buy a bunch of candy. So I'm like, I'm going to be here for a while. Let's get a taste for the sweets over here. And I like put myself on the counter and like I go to hand the cashier money and she just stares at me. And I was like, oh. And then she looks down.
How much do I give you?
Yeah, and I'm just like, huh? And she's like, hmm? And I'm like, hmm. And the word's like, put it in the cup. And I'm like, okay. And then she like finished the transaction. And I was just like, huh? No one really told me that this was going to be a thing. And like sometimes they ask questions as they're ringing you up like a good customer service person would. Because I have no idea what they're saying. So I was like, hi. And they start laughing at me. And I was like, wow, this is terrible. The one time I delayed one of our cars, like our road trip cars, we stopped at like a 7-Eleven equivalent over there for lunch. Grab your snack, take it with you in the car. And like I got some food. Went to pay for it. And she asked a question. And I was like, hi, yes. And then like next thing I know, she's putting it in a microwave, like the cashier. And I was like, oh no, this is not, I didn't plan on this being microwaved, nor did I plan on holding up the car for my microwaved food because I was the last guy in line. And so Dick Togo is at the door going, Anton, come on. And I was just like, my food, Togo-san, I've got to wait. And he's just like, why? And I was like, they're microwaving my food. And he's, why? What'd you do that for? I was like, Togo-san, I have no idea. So it's just a lot of like miscommunications that made me feel really bad.
Now, what was training like there compared to here? Because I'm sure you had especially where you stayed at the dojo.
Training was a lot different. So in America, I'm very much used to training at night. I'm very much like 7 p.m., 8 p.m.
Right?
Yeah.
Till 3 in the morning-ish somewhere. Like, boom, yeah. Prime time for some wrestling. At the dojo, the training was 9 a.m., I believe, was when we started warm-ups, 9:30, one of them. And Oga would wake up ahead of time to vacuum the building. So it took a long time for my sleep schedule to catch up to Japanese time. And
is it Japanese or Jap-anties at this point?
Well, with all my fans over there, Jap-anties when I was there, for sure.
Man, you never stop with it. You never stop with the colony jokes. You never stop with the ant jokes. Like you bring. I don't know what it is. Like I don't know what your.
There
I think
always
it's the
ones I
shirt
don't
tonight.
think.
You're wearing the shirt.
I want to be in the colony. I can be the world's largest ant, Andre the Giant.
Have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen JP hold a beer can? Have you ever he makes like that picture of Andre the Giant when he's holding the beer can, like that huge hand. JP has those type of hands. When he holds a water bottle, I always feel like he is holding an 8-ounce one instead of a 16-ounce water bottle. Like
it's very deceptive on the computer screen that people are probably watching on. JP is ginormous.
Yes.
Like I want you to know.
Yeah, like look at his neck. Like he has some amazing neck muscles to hold that head up.
Like you might be like, oh well, he's what, 6'1"? No, JP, you're probably 6'5".
6'7"-ish.
I think you're 6'8".
Like that is quite the difference than what I think most people would imagine.
Yeah.
One JP looks like from this low angle here.
When I show up at a wrestling show to help out with the ring or do security or whatever, and everyone's like, when do you wrestle? I don't. I'm not athletic. That's up to these guys. I'm here to make sure you guys stay safe and they stay safe while the ring is put together.
That is 100% true. I think you're athletic. I just don't think you've given yourself the ability to do it yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And no, I would not. I respect what they do way too much.
So we're 20 minutes into this thing. We've got Japan covered. We got the food covered. We got the one tweet covered from everything. Delaney Campbell has a question for you, man.
Oh.
What was your favorite or most memorable match from your time in Japan?
It's so hard to pick a favorite match because I got to wrestle some really great people over there. I wrestled Sasuke once in an elementary school in a 4-on-4 match with the worst looking Avengers you could possibly imagine. The picture of the four of us in the ring was quite the look. But that was a match where I'm wrestling Sasuke and the Brahmin brothers, Ka and Shu, and then this pretty Ota guy. And in the middle of the match, we just start brawling on the floor, and I get in a boxing match with one of the Brahmin brothers, and now we're actually boxing in front of the crowd, all because there was supposed to be a child's martial arts demonstration at intermission. And so as we were fighting, he found the one set of gloves, and I found the next set. And we decided it was go-kart time.
So that just happened. It wasn't one of those. Just happened.
Yeah, he found a set, and I found a set, and we squared up. And I lost miserably. He punched me in the face a lot.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Right? Yeah, and well, it's like the first punch, I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." But whatever. Like, we're boxing, I can deal with that. And then it's like I start hitting him back, and he starts throwing kicks. And I was like, "These are not kickboxing gloves, my friend. This is not MMA. I signed up for good old fisticuffs, and you started throwing in the extra."
That's funny. Now, did you find when you went over there, did the crowd already know who you were?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember the first night, because so I got put. They have like a little program book, and in the book there's all the wrestlers. And Boomer Hatfield was supposed to be over the month before, so they put him in with all the wrong stats. They said that Boomer Hatfield is 6'3".
They had Dasher's Hatfield. They had Dasher stuff in there.
Like even more inflated than Dasher Hatfield. Boomer Hatfield, 5'5" on a good day. He's the tallest of the Chikara guys coming over. Like, no, that's not true at all. But then, so I was right next to Boomer. So there's a few people in the crowd that cheered for me. It helped a lot. The first night I wrestled the Yappamen, and who's there? I think Rui might have been their third. No, it was Kengo, because he speaks moderate amount of English. He's a great guy. They picked me up, the Yappamen, and walked me in the ring like an ant rocket, yelling "Green Ant, Green Ant," in an effort to embarrass me, which only made the crowd chant my name more, which I enjoyed. And the joke was on them because at that point I was 178 pounds. So good luck carrying.
You were over, weren't you? You were over with the fans.
This large lump of man, carry that around like a rocket. I heard they loaded me up to carry me, and at one point the other one didn't have me, and I just heard one of the Yappamen just go, "Oh!" And I was only partially offended, but also laughing because I realized how heavy I'd actually become in my time to go to Japan.
I'm going to ask this in a safe way that I think it's safe for you to answer. Communication in the ring. What's the trash talking like in the ring in Japan, where communication has to be a little bit tougher?
Yeah.
There was the trash talking. A lot of the time was me continually saying "ouch." This is one of the few words that I had in my vocabulary.
That sort of translated into every language.
Is that Japanese for too stiff?
There's a lot of ite, ite. The referee would ask me how I was doing, and I would calmly respond in English, going, "Not well," but he didn't pick up on that. So that was the goal.
I'm surprised they didn't have a different way of asking that.
I learned quickly the asking if I was okay, but my replies were always short and to the point. So,
What do you what is the? I'm gonna ask this carefully, like JP said. How different is the dance over there compared to the Wrestle Factory?
I'm trying to carefully dance into the answer.
The communication has to be extremely difficult part of this.
Communication was a lot of the
a lot of the approaches and posts, and Jordan Grace has talked about this too. It's one of those things where if you know how to do the two-step, you know how to do the two-step. If you know how to do the waltz, you know how to do the waltz. If you know how to do the Dixie jig, you know how to do Dixie jig. But if you ask me to break dance, I can't do it.
So the benefit for me, a lot of the guys in Michinoku trained out of the Toriman dojo.
Okay.
A lot of them went down to Mexico and trained under Skida. Skida also trained at the Wrestle Factory for 6 or 7 years. So there's a bit of a shared language in motion, maybe not in terminology.
Yeah, no, yes, absolutely, because there's definitely a style.
Yeah. So every match kind of starts off with this 5-ish or so minute feeling out process until you start learning your opponent, if you're getting what I'm putting down, of going out there and just kind of doing, trying to see who can better the person.
Is it when you're getting ready to perform, and you talked about that communication portion of that? Like, do you guys have translators there, or is it just like it would be anywhere else where it's you and your partner, and you guys you're like, here we go?
It was a lot of me and my opponent. If we didn't understand something, there was a lot of, well, if you lay down and I do this, this is what it would look like. There's also some of the trainees were not clued in yet.
Got you. Yep.
So ring time was premium on show day, because as long as the trainee wasn't around, you could warm up.
Yeah. So when you're talking about warming up and getting ready to go, and it's obviously, I mean, I don't want to get into too much fourth wall stuff, but this is one of those things, like everybody that I talk to talks about, is it's the dance that you do. And Anthony Green put it perfectly when he said this, is it's just two strangers getting together. You're going to put together a blockbuster movie. You just met each other. You're going to be the actor, and you're going to be the co-star, and you've got to figure out that entire script within a certain amount of time and make it happen
within an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have it shot, filmed, and recorded, ready to go in 2 hours.
Yeah. There's a lot of on that trip. Heading into that trip, I really enjoyed the freeness of going into a ring and just doing, and not having to think much more than, whatever step I was going through next. I conditioned my brain a lot of, if I'm in a situation that I need to get out of, I will have an exit plan. So that helped me on some of the beginning structures of these matches. as we got down into the nitty gritty sections, there's a lot of repetition. I found out my John Cena 5 moves of doom on that trip, and used them to my advantage. There's a lot of just like recognizing where we were in the moment, knowing that like they're going to keep me safe, I'm going to keep me safe, and I'm going to keep them safe. And it was just we'll handle it when it gets in there. I don't believe that there's anything that'll happen that'll intentionally hurt me.
Yeah, and that's the point I want to get to, is that you're really getting over. I mean, you're going over there and you're training, and you're trusting people that you have never worked with before. Yeah. It's a total trust. You have to trust that person. It's one of those things. In communication, you've got to break through that barrier to like, okay, just because we can't communicate doesn't mean that I can't trust this guy.
Well, there's a lot of like, because we can't communicate verbally, but like there's a lot of nonverbal communication that happens, like even just in the windup of a move that like I can clue in on.
How much more stiff was it over there? Was it more stiff?
No. I felt I was murdering people. Okay. And one night I was over there, Liger was doing his retirement match for the whole of Tohoku. I embarrassed myself in front of Liger by not knowing enough Japanese and panicking, but that's okay. He's retired now. I'll never have to wrestle him. He probably doesn't remember me.
He will. He will. He's you won.
Yeah. Anto from Chikara got me good. The Tohoku Junior Heavyweight Champion Musashi wrestled the challenger Kengo, and in one of probably my favorite matches, I got to sit and watch over there. Because after I wrestled my match, I was like, I want to go down and watch Liger. I want to watch Musashi. Like, I want to watch the tag match. I'm like, go on, go for it. Thank you. So I got to sit in amongst the crowd at my merch table watching it all. And these guys beat the hell out of each other. Like, they're doing all the big match. Like, you would think they're in the New Japan. Like, you'd think they'd be in the Tokyo Dome is what they're pulling out. And I was amazed. This is incredible. Not a mark on them. Like chop fests and all that. Like maybe a little red, nothing broken, no skin broken, none of that. With the amount of chop that they were throwing. The next day, Kengo wrestles some other guy and comes back with his whole neck bright red and split open from getting hit. So I don't know. Like, it seems like it's hit or miss over there. I can tell you there's a few times I caught people where I could feel their teeth in my shoe with a super kick. And I could hear the crowd go, "Oh!" And they said they were okay, but I didn't believe them. Not for a minute.
See, even the oohs are different in Japan, because in the States we go, "Oh!" In Japan they go, "Ooh!"
But Japan, it's almost like a golf match, sort of.
They don't. It is like it's quiet.
Cheering was a lot different. Like in America, like we try to get like the whole crowd in at once, and people generally pick up on like a chant. There, it's like one random person scattered throughout the room just yelling your name. Like I'd be in a hold, trying to figure a way out of it, and like across the ring I'd just hear Anto, and behind me I'd hear Anto, but it's just all the way. Like it was not like a unified like ant chant. So it's just one of those like getting used to that was different.
Leo Khan is who does a TV show up here with another one coming pretty soon.
Oh,
the Indie Insider, New England Indie Insider. Sorry, that actually will be a part of. But he wants to know, how long have you been an ant?
Well, I've been wrestling full-time, part-time for 3 years now. I hit my 3-year mark February 5th,
But of
and
course, you've been an ant your whole life. But a wrestling
naturally,
ant,
yeah.
3 years. Okay. Now, you're sort of like the veteran ant now, too.
Well, I mean, Fire Ant's still around. Fire Ant comes and trains us every now and then. You know, before this, he's
I
we've all
can't.
been a little.
Like I can't. It's so hard for me. Like this is the hardest thing in the world for me to like Silver Ant, Fire Ant. Like it's just hard for me to hold it in and continue to hold it in. And
I mean,
for me, it's the love of Chikara. It's the love of the brand. It's everything, right, JP?
Do you think the ants could ever be an army again? Again, a question I asked in a safe way.
Selfishly, I hope that answer follows with a whole bunch of zeros behind the first number. If it ever does.
Do you?
Do I want it to come back? Do I want them to come and rejoin me? Selfishly, yes, I'd like to team with them, but also I want them to stay retired, the ones that have retired, and do what is best for them.
And it's hard. I guess this is the hardest part for me, is because as a Chikara fan and Chikara since inception, Colony and Fist has been an integral part of my life. Like it's the ongoing feud that is bigger than any other feud. I can't find one. I mean, is there one? Is there a feud bigger? And no matter what you're talking about, when you're talking about Colony feud, like Colony Fist, you throw the Crucible in there now. With Punku with Ophidian, like I don't know, man. Can you compare that to anything else out there right now?
Right now, absolutely not. Maybe the Midnight Express and the Midnight Rockers, perhaps. Yeah. But right now, I don't know that there are many factions that are feuding for as long as the Colony and Fist have.
It outdates most of the members of both groups.
Yeah.
With, I think, one exception, right?
Icarus.
Icarus.
Yeah. With Fire Ant being on the fringe, I still count him because I do not want to become the de facto leader of the Colony. I say this.
Right?
It's funny that you're both the resilient rookie and sort of, like I said, you sort of are the veteran there now. Between you and Thief, I mean,
we've had long discussions about this between Thief and I. And
so is Fire Ant actually? Has he left the Colony?
No, Fire Ant is still certainly with the Colony.
Okay.
He's taken some time off, but he is not gone.
Special appearances when necessary.
Mm-hmm. He wants us younger guys to go and perform,
and that's how it should. He sort of passed Fire Ant, passed a lit torch to you, if you will.
Yeah, which believe me is petrifying. Because
I bet it is.
Like JP, we're 40 minutes. We're 40 minutes into this, right? And I want to kind of two parts of this, right? So one, I want to ask Green Ant, like, do you feel like wrestling will ever, like, I put that down there, like, is wrestling ever going to be normal again, like our normal, where it's weekend, you're traveling, you're here, you're in the seat, you're doing 4 shows a week, you're traveling to Japan, you know, the bigger guys are filling arenas. Like, do you feel like it's ever going to be like that normal again?
I think it is going to certainly take a lot of time. I think earliest might be 2021. We get to having travel shows again. And that's just like broadcasting through the lens of what I'm seeing right now. JP knows more of my background then I can reveal some days on the outside of the
Yes.
anthill.
Yes.
But do I feel like it is a smart choice to dive back into the norm as soon as humanly possible? I don't. I'm one of those.
Do you feel like the times, like the Action Arcade? You got the Action Arcade going on
Yes.
right now, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool because you're able to bring in some really cool talent and do some really cool things. Is that how is that for you guys? Like, are you able to how is it for you guys? Like, what's it like for you?
I'm trying to come up with the answer that won't.
It's a hard question, and it's
So a lot of this stuff has been pre-taped ahead of time.
Yes.
For all of this. We just went through Young Lions Cup on Action Arcade, and you could watch all of Young Lions Cup in its entirety when we had it in February, something like that.
Or for $7.99, you can still watch it on Chikaratopia.
Yeah. So a lot of what is being put out is repurposed footage. There's a lot of segments that are being made at home.
Yes.
So,
and I think the reason I asked this is because we talked about this the other day. Is like people that do what we do on a regular basis. They do podcasts and they talk about things that are really how do you say this? I think it's crap, man. I think it's crap that people. The COVID era is a different pro wrestling era. Like, we're blessed and we're lucky to be able to have what we have without the crowds. I understand that the Mondays and the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays and the Fridays, the stuff that people are watching is totally different. My problem is that people now are getting to experience what I've experienced my entire life. Is the only way I've got to experience pro wrestling is through this, like through this device, on my television, on my computer, on my laptop, on my whatever. Guess what? Welcome to my world. And I am so lucky to still be able to have it. I'm not going to shit on the product. I'm not going to shit on the people. I'm not going to, excuse my French, like, I'm not going to do that because I'm so fortunate to be able to have a thing that is so important to me that it's the COVID era of pro wrestling. We have to adjust. We have to adapt, and we have to make it what it is. It's not going to be the same. So to continue to compare pre-COVID to current COVID, I think is completely unfair.
And over the last 3-4 years, there's been so much wrestling that's happened in front of crowds that no one has been able to consume all of the pro wrestling that's been out there. I can tell you.
No way.
I try to, and it does not work.
You can't. You can't.
So there's a 3-year window of time with promotions that have top stars now, guys that are rising through the ranks that have footage out there with crowds. So if you want your crowd interaction, and it's all there, and everyone and their mother's got a streaming service. Like, there is wrestling to be watched. I understand a desire to get back to in-person, in-ring, in front of crowd stuff. But for me, that time's not right now. Like,
is there any amount of money right now? And this is what's so hard for me to explain to people. Is there any amount of money? Can you put a dollar amount on? Hey, we're gonna have a show. It's gonna be on Wednesday night. There's probably gonna be about 35,000 people there. Is it worth it to you to put not only your life in danger, but anybody else that wants to attend that?
So, what I know from AEW, all the wrestlers show up, they get a COVID test, and if they're negative, you continue on and you wrestle. I don't see that carrying down to the
So that you're
independent
basically
level.
treating
Correct.
it just like it just like you would any other business. Like when I go into business and I'm doing my day-to-day job, I'm masked up. I got my gloves on.
Mhm.
If I go in there, they got to put a thermometer under my tongue. I'm good to go. You're in.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they're doing the testing, and it's all their employees, and it's only wrestlers in the crowd, save for the few, like whoever these are that run around in the background of camera shots every now and then. For me, I know that you can't test 35,000 people, 3,500, 30 people, 400. It doesn't matter. Like, I know that's not happening at the independent level. For me, going back right now is not. I'm not looking to go back right now. There's also, just as this was all kicking off, from my time in Japan, I did rack up a few injuries that I was looking to take time to heal up. And this struck right at the prime time, because I can tell you the only wrestlers that aren't feeling pain all the time are the wrestlers that don't wrestle yet. So we all need this time to heal up our bodies. Like, we're all running fast and loose. It was a wrestler's market to get signed. WWE was picking up anyone they could. AEW is picking up the rest. TNA and ROH are fighting over who's the next top star.
And you still get MLW in the mix now too.
Yeah, and like GCW showing up on GCW is the gateway to PWG, which is the gateway to AEW. And like, so we're all running, our bodies hard through as much as we can to get a GIF, to get a retweet, to get anyone to look at us. Everyone's hurt. Being able to take time off and remember that, I'm mid-20s, and laying down or standing and walking or sitting for a long time should not hurt. These are things that we need to heal. Need to take time to rehab. We need to work through all the injuries that we have neglected. And right now, you're not turning down any bookings. You're not losing. You're losing money because you're not wrestling, but you're not telling people, "Hey, I'm going to show up here and I need to take time off because of an injury." Like, this is the time for the rest of us as a group to make ourselves feel better.
I got two things. One, TIW Mafia OG in the chat. Woody, what's up, man? Two, how bad are the ropes going to suck when you go back?
Not looking forward to it.
The back's going to be bruised up again.
And the first bumps, like, it's going to be just like restarting, which it's okay.
How real is ring rust? Like, that's a thing, but how real is it? Do the ropes hurt?
Chikara's ropes are airline cable wrapped in a hose, and then one layer of electrical tape around it to put a color on it. They are miserable, especially when they're set the way I like them, so I can do some springy boy stuff.
Yeah. Is that why Ophidian took him down?
Absolutely. He realized how much damage it was doing and said, "We don't need these. You're safer landing on the floor than you are hitting this rope."
I remember doing a ring rental for Chikara up here, and the ring that we had at the time was rope.
Oh, man.
And rope, you can actually do a lot of the springboard stuff off if you're trained for it, and you'll get the spring off of it if you're trained. But if you're used to cable, which all of the Chikara guys were, my buddy Kyle, it was his ring. He got so mad because all the Chikara guys were complaining about the ropes, and they weren't loose; they were tight. But they were, oh man, these we can't do nothing with these. And my buddy Kyle just like you could almost hear him yelling, like, "Yes, you can." But yeah, it's the steel cable is you definitely, from what I can see, people definitely get a lot more comfortable on there going off the top and stuff because you get that little more. You definitely get more stability out of it.
Yeah, it feels a lot more sturdy underneath your feet. That's not to say I haven't learned tricks around that. because I've been in some cable rings that are hot garbage as well.
No shit.
I've put a few of those together.
So we got 10 minutes left, JP, and I've been wanting to ask this question since the last time that we interviewed Green Ant. How did the idea of Green Ant come to fruition for you, and whose idea was it to become that?
Thankfully, we just kind of touched on this in Action Arcade,
Yes.
so I can speak some more about it.
Yes.
As a fan, I was always a fan of the colony. Within the first 6 or 7 months of me starting to go to Chikara matches is when the first Green Ant showed up.
Yes.
And immediately I was, this is who I want to be if I ever wrestle. Like this is, he's not that big, he's pretty lanky, but he wrestles with heart. And then when I started training, there was a bit of a crossover between the original Green Ant and me, where I think we trained together maybe once before he was forced into retirement. And in that time, we kind of realized how, like, I could see it. He told me, like, you are how I was when I started. And it like made me chuckle because I was like, good, because I want to be you. like you are who I've aspired to be.
That's probably the highest compliment you can pay somebody.
Yeah. And so he gets forced into retirement, goes away. I keep training. And I'm telling like anyone I can get my hands on to let them know, man, you know, it'd be cool having Green Ant come back. It would be great. A new Green Ant. Like joking, but like also not. But then we'd have a lot of nights at training where you're just getting beat up. Like there's a lot of nights where like you need to learn how to fall correctly, which just means you're taking a lot of the hits. And like, I'd be there, take the biggest one and get back up, do it again, take the biggest one and get back up. And so like you move past that stage in some time. And then there are nights that like I'm opening the building and I'm closing the building at 3 a.m. I'm there at 7. I'm in the ring by 7:15. We're in there, the class from 8 to 10. Everyone leaves, but I'm still there, training till 3 in the morning, trying to perfect anything. A lot of tricks that I never broke out. A lot of cool things that like you can kind of see hints of when I do them. But just being there. There's some time that I spent. There's a long period in Chikara Wrestle Factory schedule where Saturdays were 6-hour affairs. Wow. Sometimes 8 if you included the break. Whereas 3 classes back to back. And I would be there for them all, including the finals of the one, which like the end class of the one, which was a 30-minute tag match in the one class that moved into a 2-hour tag match in the next class where my tag partner wasn't there for the first hour. So I just wrestled 30 minutes, took a sip of water, got back in the ring and wrestled Quack and Ophidian for 2 hours with the first hour not having a partner.
Holy shit. Did you just say that you wrestled a handicap match against Mike Quackenbush and Ophidian?
So they had the advantage of being able to take a break and tagging out. You didn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was much of a match. It was a lot of me trying to, not die.
Yeah. Hey kid, let me try this.
Trying to, also looking towards the door, being like, "Is he here yet?" Okay, he's not.
I guess the cool thing for me is when I hear you say that is, and JP, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I may be assuming way out there, but when you've got a Mike Quackenbush, Ophidian in a ring with Green Ant, that's huge. Like that's huge.
Right.
And you're willing to stay there and put in the work, and you're doing what most people probably don't realize needs to happen. Is you're the first one there and the last one to leave.
And that match is probably the reason why you are the first one in and the last one to go, right?
There's since my first training class, I was like, wow, this is something I want to do all the time. And like I have trouble, especially like when I'm hurt being around a ring, because I always want to be in it. It's like I have to like keep myself away from the ring, because I just, like every time I'm near one, I'm just like, that's something new I want to try. Like, and I was like, well, if I don't roll on this shoulder, I'll be all right. It's always a lie. Like I always hurt myself more. So like I've had to like limit myself when I'm injured. But like there's a lot of times when Quack's warming up for his matches that he needs people to roll around with. Like, it's me and Travis. Like Travis and I are the first ones in the ring. Like, oh, you need someone here. Like it's one of us. Choose us.
That's.
You know, you just mentioned like you thought there was another green ant that could come back, and I only have 4 minutes left, and this is the other. JP just watching me go. Do you ever like the man of 1,000 holes, Quack? Will there ever be another Mike Quackenbush? Like the intelligence, what he does, what he brings, what he gives to pro wrestlers in the classes, even through YouTube or whatever he needs to do, especially in this. Like, is there? Can you think of anybody comparable that you've been able to learn as much from outside of the Wrestle Factory more than Mike?
So, a little secret in on the carnival lifestyle that we have right now. There is a Facebook group right now for wrestlers to converge in and train. And I see a lot of stuff from Tyson Dew in Canada. Sin Bodhi is actually it is through the snake pit. Sin Bodhi's thing is put it all together. Like there's a lot
of guys. It's cool to hear that name. It's really cool to hear that name.
Sin does a lot still. Like we back in the day, Green Ant, we used to have Sin on all the time. Before Kazani, actually.
Yeah. And he's
such a good dude.
He's helping lead the charge to make sure that we don't go without training. That's awesome.
And he's a
here's the way I look at it is because I've been watching I'm lucky because I'm 45 years old, and I've seen every freaking WrestleMania. I've watched it from the time that I could be on my grandfather's lap, and I can't think of two. I guess you could throw Sin in there. I don't know. I can't think of two more intellectually armed individuals than Mike Quackenbush and Dr. Tom Pritchard. Like the two people that can teach you everything you need to know about the business that is pro wrestling and the psychology behind it, right? Or am I wrong? I mean, that's just my two. But Quack is up there, man.
Yeah. It's funny because so a lot of our style is taken directly from Michinoku, which was taken from the Toryman Dojo and Ultimo Dragon, who supplemented his trainings through Skida. So it's like to go back and trace our lineage to there's one guy that really broadened our horizons. Except Chikara is more than just a Yave or a Lucha Libre style. I've learned, I have the ability to learn just about every style of wrestling that there is out there through Chikara, which is, I don't know how to tell people this in a non-sales catchy way, but I love it.
No, you have to sell it. You have to sell it in a sales catchy way because I think you kind of have before.
But you could, but the thing with the Chikara training is you could literally go to any country in the world and be comfortable with the skill set you learned at Chikara.
Yeah. I wrestled a pretzel death match once using all the tropes from deathmatch wrestling, but no, I'm not going to lie. The pretzels hurt a lot. more so the fists behind the pretzels after the pretzel breaks off because it's flimsy. But like being able to know that like I have all these different languages that I can pick from, and like, I know the tropes and I know how to pull from them to make.
So what you're saying
magic.
is Matt Tremont should watch himself because you're coming for him.
If he wants a pretzel death match, he knows where to find me. I'll supply the pretzels.
Hey, we're an hour in. Green Ant, man, I
Yeah.
appreciate the time again, man. It's just so invigorating for me to be able to sit down with a member from the colony because I'm a mark. I'm wearing this, right? I'm wearing Mr. Touchdown.
Listen,
JP.
we're here we're sweet and sour.
You're wearing Larry Sweeney. I wanted to make sure I got that out there because it's Larry Sweeney being gone. Eddie Kingston said it right. I mean, there will never be another Too Sweet Sweeney. Never, ever.
Can I do a quick Larry Sweeney story?
Yes, please
one
do.
One of the Chikara ring rentals, right? There was a young kid that was helping us out on the rental. And he was maybe 12 or 13 years old, and he said to the promoter, the ring owner, like, is it cool if I ask Mike if I can go in the locker room and do an interview with a couple of the guys? And he had a couple of specifics, and they said, sure, if Quack's all right with it, go ahead. So Quack assembled a few of the guys, and this building had a little like conference room almost. And the first one to give him an interview was Larry Sweeney. And Anthony Green can back up that whole story 100%. That was Anthony wanted to do. Anthony was doing a podcast.
Hey man, oh my God, I'm so, dude, I'm so happy that you're wearing that T-shirt. I've got my money saved up, and I'm actually getting ready to have you make not only a custom mask for me, but I want to see if you'll make one for my little 3-year-old boy because he sits down with me on Saturday mornings. We don't watch cartoons, dude. We watch Chikara, we watch Action Arcade, we watch old stuff, and it's a good time. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. Just having the drive and the desire and the love and the passion to bring it back, man.
Now, where can people, when this is all over and everything is safe, and I know why you want to wait until everything's 100% safe. I do understand. I'm the same way. Where can people find you? Like if somebody wants to do a podcast with you, or if somebody just wants to buy a mask or whatever. I know you got the bigcartel.greenant.com.
greenant.bigcartel.com. Where we got these sweet new projects dropping. They're already online, but I'm still working on them. So if you want one, you can go over to greenant.bigcartel.com and find them.
Gonna order one tonight.
And these are made by hand, correct? You make these. These are made and constructed by hand.
Yeah, you can see my my semi decent stitching on them, but I wasn't satisfied with what was out there already. So a lot of the other makers are making them out of spandex and vinyl, and you can't sanitize it as well. And so I was, well, how can I fix that? And also, I've been making a lot of masks to donate, and so the money from these ones are going to be able to make more to donate.
Awesome.
So I was like, let's see. Like I know people might want these, and if they do, awesome. Like I want to have them available.
All I can picture is you donating them, and there being like an ER full of green ant.
I love it.
I actually did a
whole colony, if you will.
I think I did a bunch for the local fire department, just to have extras for them to wear around the station and all that, so they're not using their good stuff for their ambulance calls and all that.
What's cool about those for a fan too is like you can go to a wrestling show after all this is over, and that's still a way to show support to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't need.
I can tell you, once the pandemic ends and wrestling reopens, wearing a mask is not going to be uncool. Look at me. I wore a mask before, and we'll wear one after.
I think it's even more cool now because I can wear whatever. I can take this last Parcel Power mask out. I can take that out. And I can wear it wherever I want, and I can cover up my face, and people don't even look at me like they don't care. Like, oh, that's a bigger mask. Never mind.
I grew up in a town where if you walked into a store with a mask, silent alarms will hit instantly. But now you need it, and unfortunately, like it's going to be needed for a long time.
Especially if it looked like Whitey Bulger.
Don't look like Whitey Bulger. He was like an old man.
I agree, man. Thanks again
not look like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, dude, I can't thank you enough, man, and I look forward to sitting down again here in the next 6 months to a year and rehashing this whole thing out. And
hopefully sooner.
I'm
throw into my anthill. And every time I do a podcast, I remember how much I love doing them, especially with you guys. But I take these, I borrow radio silence. I start putting my nose to the grindstone to work on things to solve the current problems. But having a nice break to talk to two friends is always a hoot.
I appreciate it, man. The cool thing is it's a huge injection into the wrestling bloodstream when you're able to do this and hang out with two cool guys like you that just love pro wrestling, and the fact that you take the time to do what you do, put the mask on, wear the Larry Sweeney t-shirt, and just grind it, and just grind it like you grind it is something that, in 10 years when I'm 55 and I'm sitting out there hanging out and I'm watching you on Monday or Wednesday nights or whenever it is, I'm going to be in a place of, what do they call that? Serenity, I think, with a lot of individuals that we've had a chance to, between Drew Gulak and Fergal Devitt and Natty Neidhart, and I mean the list is endless. It's so invigorating, like you said, for us to sit down and watch. And don't take this the wrong way, watch you kids go, man. It's just so exciting for me to see that the business is not anywhere close to slowing down or getting old, man.
And Joe Bruin was in the chat earlier. Joe was the one that put on the Hall of Fame last year.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And obviously, he canceled it. Well, I think it's postponed indefinitely, or he's going to do something online. But next year, I'll definitely have a table, and you guys again are, you guys were a blast to have.
As long as they can get
all of those skits are not skits, but all of the things we recorded there, from you guys getting caught talking to Spider-Man to you, Carrie, and Joe, are all on TikTok.
Listen, as long as we can get Bill Apter singing some karaoke again this year.
With Steve Weiner.
Call me.
Steve the Turtle.
Call me, please.
Steve the Turtle singing some karaoke.
That was awesome.
All right, Green Ant Man.
Yeah,
thank you again so much for the time, man. We appreciate it.
Stay safe.
Have a good night, man.
See ya.
Bye.
Dude, how cool was that?
That was awesome.
I cannot.
I'm figuring this out, huh? Although me and you were fighting at one point.
Oh no, we're still live, guys, and I just want to say, that kid's class. That kid is class.
Do you remember Woody?
Yes.
He was in the chat tonight.
I know, I saw him, dude.
He's from Ireland.
I know. Isn't that
How
crazy?
Cool is that? He stopped watching wrestling. He completely stopped watching wrestling. So the fact that he popped in was awesome.
Yeah.
Green Ant's in that green room still.
Huh?
Green Ant's still in the green room. But yeah, that's
all right, man.
That's it for this week. I'll be cutting some of this over the next couple of days. This will be going out next week. And you'll be able to, I've been doing the clips. If you guys like that, let us know. I've been posting short clips almost every day on YouTube and posting them on Twitter, and a couple of shorter clips go up on TikTok. You can follow everywhere now, because they actually changed our TikTok name. Everywhere we're now 3 Irish Boys. So
with a Z.
With the Z. Guys, check out Green Ant.
Yeah, it's right there. It's at _ Green Ant _.
Yep.
Like this kid is everything that everybody should aspire or want to be when it comes to not only being a human being, but being a pro wrestler, dude. It really, I enjoy sitting down with that young man and just talking about his adventures. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And we're fortunate to be able to do it.
Here's something for you guys to tweet at us. During Corona, I want all of you guys to tweet at us what plan you're going to take this time to make, because a lot of us got a lot of free time to pursue your dreams. You don't have to pursue them right now, but right now is the time to come up with a plan and say, this is how I'm going to get from point A to point B. Tweet us at that, what your dreams are and how you're going to get there. I'd love to hear that.
This was my dream right here. This was my dream. I got the last parcel of power ever from Chikara Pro.
I'm going on greenant.bigcartel.com right now, actually.
Just for the record, JP.
What is that?
That is Fire Ant.
That is
the Fire Ant.
That is the Fire. I've seen him in some cool matches.
Well, just for the level.
He's got a teddy bear.
Huh?
He got a Lucha Libre bear. A Lucha bear. Oh, sorry. Not a teddy bear. No, it's not a teddy bear. He's selling teddy bear masks. So if your kid, if Temba's son has can I say her name? I just did, so it's too late. Yeah. If her son has like a Build-A-Bear, you can buy a mask for it. It's not a Green Ant mask, but it's a wrestling mask.
Well, we need to fix that. We need to fix that immensely. But hey, folks, please follow us at 3 Hours Boys. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit us up on Facebook. As always, you can follow me or JP or any of us at any point in time if you want. But that's it. That's a broadcast. JP, you got anything to say? Anybody out there?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for coming in live for the questions that we had.
See you next Tuesday.
Woody and Leo, see you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday.
All right.